Joe Rogan has revealed that Diddy could avoid serving significant prison time because several powerful high-profile figures were allegedly connected to him. Music, citing Kurt Metzger, Rogan pointed to prosecutor Maureen Comey's involvement. Music, and according to him, if Diddy was fully held accountable, it could expose other influential individuals. Music, Rogan questioned whether those connections could help Diddy avoid harsher consequences.
Abandoned multiple allegations against rapper days before trial's end. Hey, he says,
wow.
Hey, remember I called it? This is Kurt Metzger on Twitter. Because James Comey's daughter is the prosecutor. Yep. Remember how well she swept up on the Ghislaine trail?
Yep.
Hey, who else called it?
Yep.
I can't be the only one. Yeah, he called it.
Yep.
He called it in the fucking green room of the mothership. Right when he found out, he goes, he's gonna walk. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you heard these charges?
Yeah.
He's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
No, Metzger was right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we I don't know what happened with Ghislaine
And you don't
Maxwell.
think
What's
they
she
could
doing
fake
right
the
now?
moon landing?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Joe Rogan questioned why the public was initially told that numerous high-profile individuals were allegedly connected to Diddy's case and that footage from his parties could reveal more names. Rogan pointed out that despite those expectations, no major revelations or videos were publicly released. He suggested that the focus of the case became much narrower than many people had anticipated, raising questions about what happened to those earlier claims.
Bro, where's the videos? They were telling us that videos are going to come out, incredibly high-profile people doing horrendous things, evil things. People are going to go to jail. People are going to be shocked.
Yeah.
Where?
Right.
Nothing.
Well, like,
zero.
My thing about the Diddy thing is like, I don't really give a fuck. These people are they're of age. They're like 18 years old. And is it what he's doing, trying to like use people and leverage them into do these weird sexual things and like sick shit, just the most sick shit you could possibly think of. But like the way I look at it is these people are using this Diddy stuff. All it does is like take away from the real child that's going on with like underage kids, right? There's like what 300,000 something like missing kids. Like talking about Diddy and his oil parties with these 18-year-olds. Like, do I think it's good? No. I want to beat up their dad, but other than that, I don't really give a fuck if there's like 18 to 19-year-olds that are doing this stuff, as long as they're not being like actually like physically.
In an old interview, Diddy spoke about politicians playing the gangster game, saying he had already played those games himself. At the time, he appeared to be discussing politics and voting, but some viewers now interpret those remarks differently in light of recent allegations. As more high-profile names have been mentioned in connection with the case, many have revisited the interview questioning whether his comments carried a deeper meaning than they initially seemed to.
So when we get down to the local elections, when we get down to the school board, we get down to the judges and the justices, that's so confusing for us. We've never played this game. This is another level of gangster. But I played this game before, you know? I started in 2004 when Voter died, and this is the evolution of that thought, of that empowerment, of that independence.
As several major allegations against Diddy have been dismissed, his legal team has continued defending his actions in court. His lawyer argued that the recorded encounters involved consenting adults, role-play costumes, and stage lighting, describing them as private recordings made for personal viewing rather than commercial distribution. The defense claimed this type of content is protected under the First Amendment and should not be treated as criminal conduct. They also argued there was no financial motive behind the recordings, making the charges inappropriate. The prosecution, however, has rejected those arguments and continues to challenge the defense's interpretation in court.
I'm going to read you something from their brief. Listen to this. They say, freak-offs and hotel nights were highly choreographed sexual performances involving the use of costumes, role play, and staged lighting, which were filmed so Combs and his girlfriends could watch this amateur pornography later. Pornography production and viewing of this sort is protected by the First Amendment and thus cannot constitutionally be prosecuted. So what they're saying is, look, if you want to use the Mann Act to prosecute people who are moving prostitutes across state lines for commercial transactions, which again is what it's usually used for, that's one thing. But here, there's no commercial purpose. Diddy lost money. He ended up paying the prostitutes. The films were never distributed to anybody. The defense is saying it was for his pleasure and the pleasure of people who may have been participating. So they're saying, look, this is like any the OnlyFans. It could be anything like that. And all of that is constitutionally protected and shouldn't be prosecuted.
There have long been public moments involving Diddy that many people have revisited after the recent legal proceedings. One example often shared online comes from an old charity auction where Diddy jokingly bid on the opportunity for someone to spend time with him at one of his famous Saturday night parties. At the time, the audience laughed and treated the comments as entertainment because no one expected those moments to be viewed differently years later. After the allegations against him became public, many viewers returned to these clips and argued that some of the remarks now seemed far more unsettling in hindsight.
3 nights for you, Sharon. 3 nights.
3 nights! Full room and board.
Another thing is unlimited. If we become friends, you can stay for a long time. This is just a start. This is just a start to raise money for the kids.
Yeah,
we didn't even talk about Miami. We may go from the Hamptons to Saturday, New York to Miami. You may show up a month late.
100,000?
100 right there, my man,
I've
right
got
there.
100 in the back.
Another frequently discussed interview comes from his appearance on Conan O'Brien's show, where Diddy openly described how much preparation went into hosting his parties. He talked about making sure everything was organized and explained how important those gatherings were to him. Although the interview was presented in a lighthearted way, many people later pointed to it as another example that gained new attention after the accusation surfaced.
I don't know if this is just made up myth or if this is true, but I'm told that when you go to a hotel, anytime you go to a hotel, you don't just check in the way everybody else does. You send someone ahead to prepare the hotel room for you.
No, it's called preparing the sexy.
Preparing the sexy?
Yeah.
What's preparing the sexy?
I mean, when I walk in, I definitely take pride in being the originator of the preparation of the sexy.
Yes.
Yes, and that's candles. I like candles. I like tuberose. That's a smell. I like that scent. I'm attracted to certain scents.
What kind of?
Tuberose.
Tuberose.
Yes.
Okay, as a scent you like.
Yes, it's a scent.
Okay.
Tuberose.
Yes.
I like lilies. I like white orchids. Roses and things of that nature. I'm into baths. So I like my bath at the right temperature. It's just little things that I personally like. I work hard and I like my room to be sexy.
Sure. You like to prepare the sexy, is what you're saying. You can't just count on the sexy. Prepare the sexy.
You have to make sure you go through the proper measures to make sure that your sexy is there when you arrive.
See.
Despite these older clips becoming widely shared, much of the legal case has focused on the allegations brought forward by Cassie Ventura. Joe Rogan questioned why so many viral moments and past interviews received less attention compared with the specific charges being argued in court. He suggested that public discussion often goes far beyond what is actually included in the courtroom proceedings. Rogan also noted that many people online expected a much broader case because of years of speculation surrounding Diddy and his celebrity lifestyle. Instead, the trial has largely centered on the evidence related to the charges that prosecutors formally decided to pursue.
I mean, it seems like what's going on is just like this weird cultish thing where they slowly get creep closer and closer and closer to this thing. Like, oh, I'm here now. All these famous people are here. They're doing this. Like
elaborate parties,
yeah.
Lots of money, everything you want. The golden carrot at the end of the stick.
Right.
So the thing is, he's not even being charged for any of the things you just brought up. He's not being charged for blackmail,
right.
Which is kind of crazy because, what did they do? Why did they tell us that there was all these videos of all these high-profile people and then silence, and then it never comes up once during the trial? There's none of that stuff in the trial. In the trial, it was his ex-girlfriend Cassie. They were talking about, so he's up for these 2 charges left, and it's like prostitution, something. It's like nothing stuff.
Over the years, Diddy has frequently been seen acting very affectionately with several male friends and artists in public. Numerous interviews, event appearances, and behind-the-scenes clips have circulated online showing him hugging, complimenting, or speaking in ways that some viewers considered more personal than typical celebrity friendships. One of the most widely shared videos features Diddy interacting with rapper Meek Mill, with many people online describing the exchange as unusually flirtatious. While supporters argue that it reflects his outgoing personality, critics believe the repeated interactions have taken on new meaning following the allegations and ongoing legal controversy surrounding him.
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Joe Rogan has also spoken more generally about the music industry and how it has seen several major scandals over the years. He referenced the case involving R. Kelly as an example of how shocking allegations within the entertainment business have surfaced before. According to Rogan, these incidents remind people that fame and success do not place celebrities above accountability. At the same time, he emphasized that public opinion should be separated from the legal process because accusations and courtroom evidence are not always the same
Shit
thing.
out there.
But I think those rappers did some wild shit.
I mean, it was,
especially in the 90s.
Music business. It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's like, it's the extortion business.
Well, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA? What's like a big theater? I'm trying to think. The Orpheum or something like that.
Wiltern.
The Wiltern. Some guys were explaining to me, it was like, you would play at the local hood club. There was like a hood club that you could perform at. And then that was owned by the local drug dealer that was washing money there.
Right.
So this is where the idea of like checking in comes from. Have you heard of this term?
Yes.
Like checking in was basically like, hey, I want to make sure we're good because you're going to pay me. And if I don't check in, you might rob me because you're putting me up at the hotel and you know everything that's going on and you're a dealer. So you don't play by the rules.
Right. When you come to Houston, you're checking in with certain people.
Mr. Prince.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prince.
Yeah.
You don't got to check in, Joe.
After Diddy was arrested and the allegations surrounding his parties became a major public topic, more people began sharing stories about music experiences they claimed to have had with him. One of those people was singer and content creator Tinia, who came forward in an interview to describe what she says happened when she attended one of Diddy's afterparties while pursuing a career in the music industry.
I walk in there, I'm just so happy, and I'm just like kind of nervous, but then what's making me even more nervous is the music and the naked people walking around. So I'm like, the music is going fast, so I'm like feeling like a rush. I don't know if it's a good thing, I don't know if it's a bad thing. I just know I'm excited but nervous at the same time. That was my intuition telling me some shit was about to go down, or it was like some crazy going off. Long story short, I started to see unusual things, people skinny dipping in the pool, P. Diddy running around like a crazy animal. I seen like a lot of, bisexual, this type of people, trans, just different types of people. And I love everyone, I've been in the industry, so like I don't discriminate on nobody. I love a lot of gays. I love anybody who is happy, anybody who is positive. But when it starts to get kind of crazy, I feel like I don't want to attach myself to that type of stuff.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man. It's so unfortunate.
According to Tinia, she arrived, expecting a normal celebrity gathering, but the atmosphere quickly felt unusual. She recalled feeling both excited and nervous as she walked through the property, saying her instincts told her something was off. Tinia described seeing behavior that she considered unexpected and explained that the environment became increasingly uncomfortable as the night continued. She also claimed that Diddy approached her personally, asked how she liked his house, and encouraged her to go further inside. According to her account, the interaction gave her a strong feeling of discomfort and she decided not to follow what she believed was being implied. Her interview has since gained millions as people revisit personal accounts connected to Diddy's parties following his arrest and the federal investigation.
I seen Diddy, he rubs me on my shoulder, he asks me, how are you liking my house? And he kind of like startled me a little bit. So mind you, this feeling I was feeling, I'm not sure if it was because I'm thinking I'm gonna have to maybe sing or get signed or this is my opportunity. You hear these in the industry, you've been singing for so long and you hear these stories like when you get your big break, you're gonna go through all this bullcrap and then one night it's just gonna change your life. So it's like you're gonna be a nobody at one moment and the next moment you just may be a superstar tomorrow. It's like an overnight celebrity type of thing. So that's just what I'm banking off. But then I get something different from Diddy. When he comes to me and he's rubbing on me and he's asking about do I like his house, I'm feeling like a dark energy, like in his eye. And I'm like, why is it giving scared? Like he's trying to, with his power, like, how are you liking my house? Like anything you want, let me know. Like, and then he tells me, go in the house. So after a while, he's watching me with the prints. Everybody is just watching me.
According to his testimony, Shirey Hayes participated in multiple private gatherings involving Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs over a period of several years. He later appeared in court as a witness, sharing details about those events and describing what he personally observed during his interactions with the pair.
My name is Sheree Hayes, and I was part of the Freak-Offs with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs. It lasted from September of 2012 to approximately March of 2015. I estimate somewhere between 8 and 12 times.
According to his testimony, he was later called as a witness during Diddy's federal trial to describe what he personally experienced. Hayes explained that he normally worked as an entertainer for private celebrations and believed this booking was another routine event. He said he received a call from a woman requesting entertainment for what was described as a birthday celebration. When he arrived, he immediately realized the atmosphere was very different from the events he usually attended.
We also get calls for private parties. So I just got a standard call that night where a woman called me up and said, hey, it's my birthday and my husband says I can get some entertainment for me and my friends. I got a location, a time, and showed up with my dance bag ready to do a little striptease. And when I opened the door, I ended up opening up to a woman in a bathrobe, and it was, for me, probably the most attractive woman that I've seen in person.
Hayes testified that before anything began, he was carefully told what his role would be and what was expected from him throughout the gathering. He said the instructions were unlike anything he had experienced during his usual entertainment work and immediately made the situation feel unusual. According to his testimony, he was then handed a substantial amount of cash before the event moved forward. Hayes explained that receiving the payment up front made him realize this was not a typical private booking. He later told the jury that the entire experience stood out as one of the most unusual assignments of his career.
Of bachelorette parties, and I'm walking in thinking I'm coming into a crowd of people. But I walked into this very dimly lit room by candlelight, and what was the most odd thing was all of the furniture was covered in sheets. And she immediately explained to me the circumstances, that she was trying to set a sexy scene, that me and her were gonna sit on these couches and put baby oil on each other in a suggestive way. And at some point, her husband would come out and watch. But I'm not supposed to acknowledge him, look at him, have any eye contact. We're supposed to do our best to act like he's not even there. So it was way out of my comfort zone. My initial feeling was to question, but the minute I was told what was expected, she handed me a stack of money, essentially $2,000 for what was asked of a baby oil massage. It was something I was gonna give a go. Hey, look, I'm an opportunist, right? So I get a stack of money, I got this beautiful woman here.
According to Hayes, one person remained mostly out of sight during the event, and he was instructed not to interact with or acknowledge him. Hayes later said the situation felt outside his normal work experience and remained one of the most unusual private events he had ever attended. His testimony became part of the prosecution's evidence as the jury heard accounts from witnesses who described what they personally observed during those years.
In the middle of the baby oil play, Mr. Combs walks over and he takes like a pack of condoms and he just throws it on the couch and kind of says, I'm ready to watch you, you know, penetration in a very direct way, right? And that made me uncomfortable and I could not perform. We stopped the session, she left the room, came back in, and then the conversation was different at the end, right? The conversation would usually be, that was great, we'll see you next time. And the conversation this time was, well, we appreciate your privacy and being discreet, and thank you so much. And I just read between the lines, like, oh, that didn't go too well. And the next time I ended up in any scenario with them being mentioned or involved is I'm sitting with federal investigators.
As the investigation into Diddy continues, more people connected to his past have been speaking publicly about their experiences. One of the most talked about interviews came when former celebrity bodyguard Big Homie CC appeared on Piers Morgan's show. During the conversation, he claimed that he believes the situation surrounding Diddy is far bigger than what the public currently knows. Big Homie described Diddy as someone who allegedly organized exclusive parties attended by wealthy and influential people, suggesting in music that many details have yet to come to light.
Well, Piers, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
He also said he believes speaking publicly about the case carries serious risks and claimed that he has faced multiple threats during his career. In the interview, Big Homie further stated that he experienced pneumonia-like symptoms himself, a claim that drew attention because Diddy's former partner, Kim Porter, was reported to have died from pneumonia. However, no evidence has publicly established a connection between those events. Big Homie also referenced a lawsuit in which his name appears, saying the allegations in the legal filing do not accurately reflect what happened. His interview has since fueled widespread debate online, with viewers questioning how much more could still emerge as the investigation continues.
He was the party guy. He was the person who lined up the parties and festivities for a lot of guys a lot more wealthy and affluent than him. So, you know, I'm a person who believes that the Epstein's list is very similar to Diddy's list. I'm a believer in that. And, you know, whenever it comes to protecting women and children, I'm gonna be fierce. Big ups to my sponsor, Stallion Gear, for putting up funds to help us go out and help people. You know, I wanna salute Michael Franzese because he's probably the only famous person who donated to our campaign for protecting women and children, going down to the orphanages.
As more lawsuits continue to emerge against Diddy, the legal battle has expanded beyond the courtroom into a public fight over credibility. In one civil lawsuit, a plaintiff alleges that Diddy hit him when he was a child after inviting him into a private room during a party. Diddy has denied the allegations, and his legal team has strongly rejected the lawsuit, calling the claims false and stating that he has never tagged anyone. His representatives have also argued that many lawsuits are being driven by financial motives, and have warned that they may pursue legal action against people they believe are making fabricated accusations.
The lawsuit states Diddy guided the minor into one of the back rooms and shut the door behind them. Diddy then allegedly offered the minor a sip of his alcoholic beverage. The plaintiff took a few sips and quickly began to feel the effects. What follows in the court document is an explicit account of sexual battery. The filing alleges that Diddy began rubbing the plaintiff's arm, and when the minor stated he felt uncomfortable, Diddy allegedly ignored his pleas.
Despite years of allegations, witness testimony, and the intense public attention surrounding the case, Diddy is currently scheduled to be released from federal prison on February 23, 2028. According to Federal Bureau of Prisons inmate records, he is serving a 50-month sentence at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey. The projected release date has sparked widespread discussion online, with many people expressing surprise that his sentence is relatively short compared with what they expected. Others point out that the sentence reflects the convictions and charges decided by the court, rather than every allegation or claim that has circulated publicly over the years. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.